On this problem, we're asked to find the x values of the relative maxima and minima, if any, of the function, and if it doesn't exist, we're to write does not exist. So how do we do that? We first of all determine the critical numbers. Well, what is the critical number? Is when the derivative equals to 0 or it doesn't exist. So we need to find that derivative first. So I'm going to just use that power rule, bring down that exponent, subtract 1, then the derivative of a constant is 0. And let's go ahead and write that without a negative exponent. And so this would be x to the 1/5. That is also the 5th root of x. So that's my derivative. Now, when is that derivative equal to 0? Does that ever equal to 0? No, it does not. The only time a fraction can equal to 0 is if that numerator could equal to 0. Or another way to look at it, you could cross multiply and you would have 4 is equal to 0, which of course is a false statement. So that never happens. But does the derivative not exist somewhere? In that case, we have to look at the denominator. Could I be dividing by 0 at any point? Could that denominator equal to 0? Well, if I divide by 5, I'd still have 0. What value of x? Well, I could do all the algebra the hard way, raise it to the 5th power, and I would have 0. But hopefully you could just see if that's 0, it would be undefined. So our critical value is 0. So the next thing says to determine the sign of the derivative to the left and right of each critical number. So if I take a number line, and I'm going to choose some easy numbers like -1 and +1, and remember I'm looking at the derivative. So I want to evaluate that derivative at -1. So that would be 4 over 5 to the 5th root of -1. The 5th root of -1 is -1. So that would be negative. And so this means the function is decreasing. Well, what if I evaluated at +1? That makes it positive, so that's increasing. So since we've decreased and then increased, then we hit a minimum at 0. But notice we don't have a maximum. We don't know where this came from, everywhere. And so this does not exist, but the x value where the minimum hits is at 0.